Have you looked at it? I'm assuming you've looked at it.
I have looked at it before.
Are there
yeah.
disparities?
There are disparities.
Yeah.
When you look at it, there are some disparities there. Yes, absolutely.
Do they come out in any category more than others of the 4 categories that are there?
Without having it in front of me, I would hate to comment on that, but I would say when you look at citations, there's probably less disparity. When you look at arrests, there's probably more disparity. And again, I want to make sure that folks are aware that most of our arrests are driven by a call for service. You know, somebody has contacted us for a problem. But if you want more information on that data,
citations in particular, just thinking about, because I'm assuming that means any age under 18, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 17 and under. Well, I can tell you, for instance, those 20 arrests and referrals that were made on the juvenile auto issue, 19 out of the 20 were African American. That's unfortunately the realities of what we're investigating there.
Yeah, and I guess where I'm going into is just trying to understand the impact that other things might come into play, such as like implicit bias or other things, because we all have it, and just wanting to know more about how that might be playing out.
Yeah,
so
some
of the numbers or not playing out.
Sure. If I may, we've actually done some training on a few different topics in the last probably 5 years. We did training with our staff on fair and impartial policing. We also, last year, the year before, had training for all of our staff on, at least all of our patrol staff, on implicit bias and unconscious bias. Just recently, there was a 3-hour training session on unconscious bias, and I sent all of our non-sworn staff to that, so that now all of our staff has been trained. And then at our most recent in-service this quarter, we had a speaker come from Centro Hispano from a cultural competency standpoint as well. So those are all things that are on our radar. We know that they can potentially be contributing factors, and we're trying to increase awareness and perspectives in our department to do what we can to minimize our impact on disparities.
In your perfect world, is this where you would want to be, or would it be a different type of staffing? If money were no object.
If money were no object, there'd be no crime, because we'd be able to completely eliminate crime in one way, shape, or form. One of the initiatives that I'm going to begin working on here this month is an updated 5-year staffing plan. I think it's important that there's a blueprint, so to speak, and a roadmap of where we feel our staffing needs to be in making a recommendation to the City Council. In an ideal world, we probably would have 5 to 8 more individuals in our department. And that would be irregardless of an absorption by the town of Madison that's pending in a few years. Some things we're considering is through additional police officer positions, implementing a neighborhood officer program again. That's something, as I mentioned, that I had done years ago. I think there's some value to it. Procedural justice training, I intend on bringing that to the department next year. That's treating people with dignity and respect, giving people a voice during encounters, basically allowing them through their interaction to speak with you and tell their side of the story. Being neutral in your decision making, so that you're taking all the facts of the situation in and you're making your decision from a neutral standpoint and not a prejudging standpoint. And then conveying trustworthy motives, that the decision you made is based on the right reasons, and you're also willing to explain those reasons.
I mean, it's not just my kids. When my kids are at school, and my daughter was one who had to be pulled in. Oh, there's a gunshot. Oh, I better get inside. I mean, certainly as a parent, I'm scared for that, but not as scared of, my kids are less in danger of someone's going to attack them. They're more in danger of random flying, what's happening in the neighborhood, and what if you are just walking your kid to school? And I want to raise my kids where that's not happening, but yet it's really happening in the school that I want to send my kids to.
No, it's a very valid concern. I mean, no doubt anybody that has kids would have those concerns. One of the challenging things with the shots fired situations that we've been seeing is those are happening where people run into one another. You know, they're not necessarily targeting where people live. It used to be more that way, but now it's, if I run into somebody at Post and Leopold and I've got the issue with them, well, I'm firing off a couple of rounds. Or if I see them at the gas station up the road, we're seeing more of that sort of trend over the last several years. Is it's hard to pinpoint where these things are actually going to happen. Unfortunately, we can't fund a cop on every corner. I mean, you've just got the lesson in municipal finance there. And not only that, nobody wants to live in a police state anyway, where basically you're turning, every corner you turn, there's a cop standing there. That's not the approach that we want to take. But again, are there ways that we can increase our visibility through foot patrol and ensuring that the people are safe? Are there ways that when we respond to an apartment 3 or 4 times because somebody is selling drugs out of the apartment, or they're causing disturbances, or there's some sort of neighborhood impact, are there things that we can do in working with the property owner on that building to say, hey, we've been here 4 times in the last month for this person in this apartment. It's probably a lease violation. We would, could you do something about that kind of thing? So those are a variety of things. Again, increasing our work with Madison may help by kind of multiplying the number of visible officers at any given time.